Hi guys, for today's video, I'm bringing you a video all about the new ColourPop Yes Please eyeshadow palette, but a lot of people are also calling it the QAF eyeshadow palette. This just came in the mail a few days ago, and I really want to get this video up for you guys because this palette does restock tomorrow on June 28th. I did purchase it with my own money. I'm just so excited to have this in my hands. This is ColourPop's like first full eyeshadow palette, I believe. I know they did one where they did like little quads, but this is their first full pressed powder shadow palette. I've never tried a pressed shadow from ColourPop. Today's video is going to be the first time that I'm going to be testing them out. So in this video, it's definitely going to be a first impression, a demo, a review, and I'm going to be inserting some swatches as well for you guys. So this palette is a little bit on the smaller side, but I think it is the perfect size in a way, and the perfect size to travel. So it fits right in my hand, and I love the yellow packaging. I just think that's so different. It says, "Yes, please, pressed powder shadow palette from ColourPop." And then on the back, you have all the names of these shadows, and I believe how this works is like the way you're looking at the names is the way that the shadow is. So it's not like back to back. This is actually like the names line up with how the shadows are in the pan, if that makes any sense. If there are any confusions on the names, you can go to the ColourPop website, and they actually have underneath the palette a description of each of the names and what it looks like, so you guys can kind of match them up that way as well if you get a little bit confused. As always, the ColourPop packaging also comes with their cute little card. "Hey love, you had me at aloe, XOXO ColourPop." They always do like little corny things like this, as well as just their little ColourPop booklet that they include. I really like these booklets. I haven't looked through them very thoroughly, but this one I'm going to, because you just kind of get the rundown on all of their products, and I think especially if you're a beginner, this is an awesome thing that they include. Onto the actual packaging. Outside of the little unicarton that it comes in, it is just a white palette with the yellow writing, and it says "Cute AF," and I think that's why people were getting confused on what's the actual name of the palette. This is called the Yes Please eyeshadow palette. I just think they just put "Cute AF" because the palette is cute AF, I'm guessing, but I really do love white packaging. But just the way this feels, I think that this is the packaging that it kind of gets dirty and you're not going to be able to rub anything off, that it's going to get stained really quickly. But I just love the whole look and the whole color scheme that they chose to do for this palette. So then when you go ahead and open the actual palette, very faintly on the top it says #ColourPopMe all throughout the back, and then in yellow here it also says ColourPop #ColourPopMe. ColourPopMe is how ColourPop kind of finds how they're going to feature the people on their website or on their Instagram page. That's kind of like their hashtag. So if you ever post a picture wearing one of ColourPop's products and you have a public Instagram account, if you do #ColourPopMe, that does give whoever runs ColourPop social media accounts a chance to see your work, and maybe you could be featured on their little website gallery or on their Instagram or Twitter page as well. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned, but this palette does retail for $16 plus shipping. So if you do sign up for ColourPop's newsletter, you get $5 off, which is basically like free shipping. But if not, you are going to have to pay for shipping. So this palette came out to about $21. But if you do purchase more than $35 worth of ColourPop makeup on their website, then there will be free shipping. So this palette is $16, and it is just magical. I'm going to say right off the bat, if you were thinking about getting this, think no more and just pick it up. It is absolutely amazing. You guys will see in the demo and even a little bit more towards the end of the video when I give my final thoughts. I'm just so impressed with the mattes in this palette. You're getting oranges, reds, this gorgeous yellow, some metallic golds. Very warm tone, very summer friendly. If you are a warm tone shadow kind of girl, this is like a dream palette. I absolutely love this. So just to go through this, you are getting 12 shadows. There are 8 mattes and 4 metallic shimmers. I'm not exactly sure what they call these exact formulas on the website. So you are getting like a matte bone cream shade. This would be really awesome to kind of set the whole lid. You're getting a super bright orange, which is what I have in my crease today. It's such a stunning color. A little bit more of a subtle peach. This is like a shimmery rose gold bronzy shade. This is more of like a metallic copper, a metallic light yellowish gold, a true red burgundy, a kind of mid-tone warmish brown. This is a bright awesome matte yellow. This one is a little bit more of like a camely brown shade. You're getting this metallic orange intense gold, and then of course a deepening chocolate brown. This is just like a perfect array of warm tones. I absolutely love this. I don't really think that a black is needed in this palette. I think that the brown plays perfectly. I know some people were complaining that there's no black, but I personally don't think that the black is needed in this palette at all. I love a deep brown, and usually for my personal use, I always deepen with a brown instead of a black, just because I feel like it's easier to work with. And just to give you guys a little bit of a size comparison, ColourPop did make these sizes of their typical pressed pan smaller for this palette, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of a comparison next to a Makeup Geek shadow. The Makeup Geek shadow is definitely larger, as you guys can see, next to the pans in the ColourPop shadow, and I believe that the ColourPop ones are about the same size as a Makeup Geek single. So when it comes to this palette not having a mirror, it doesn't personally bother me, because as a makeup junkie, I know I'm going to be traveling with something that's bound to have a mirror in it. Also, I feel like you have to keep in mind that although ColourPop is not necessarily a small brand anymore, they definitely get a lot of attention and a lot of orders, but it's just that they try to keep their products as affordable as possible. And when you start going in and adding mirrors and all this stuff, it's going to make the price a little bit higher, and they're trying to keep their products really, really good and affordable for the average consumer. Also, for packaging like this, when it is just like a thinner cardboard, it's thundering. It's not necessarily the most protective packaging, so if you travel with something cardboard and a mirror, it's kind of a little bit scary. And I also feel like when you put a mirror in cardboard, especially the palettes that I've had personally, I feel like the mirror is always just like a little bit like, you just don't look right. It like morphs your face a little bit. So I'm kind of happy that they didn't put a mirror in this, especially just to keep the price point lower for their average consumer, like I said. So I think that includes my little introduction. Now I'm just going to get into some up close swatches for you guys, and then I'm going to be doing a talk through demo so you guys can see how they apply on the eyes. Alright you guys, so here are just some up close swatches of all the shades in the palette. These are all 12. I just wanted to show you guys up close, but again, I do have to say, this is one of those palettes that when you swatch it on your arm, I feel like it's a little bit deceiving. I feel like the metallics look more metallic on my arm, and the mattes look worse on my arm, and I feel like they perform the total opposite of that on the eye. I feel like the mattes are so pigmented, like crazy pigmented on the eyes, whereas the metallics kind of lack when they are applied with a brush. Alright, so for the demo part of this video, I just zoomed you guys in a little bit. I think I'm going to be doing like a super warm, like orangey yellow eye look. I just want to try to use as many of these shadows as possible just to really see how they perform. And so I think I'm going to first be taking this really, really pretty orange shade. This is called, what is this called? This is called Big Cocktails, and it's just like a matte, really, really bright orange, and I'm going to be using this on my Morphe M433. So first impression, they do have a lot of kickback. There's definitely a lot of powder around the pan. I don't know if you guys can see that, but to me that just means that the powders are not like really hard pressed, so that you get more pigment onto your brush. With that orange shade, I'm just going to be running this as almost just like a transition lightly in my crease. So far this is really, really pigmented, and the color is moving around nicely. I feel like that actually blended out really nicely with just my Morphe brush, but I'm still going to go in with my E23. And then to further help blend everything, I'm going to be taking this really light peachy shade, and this one is called Champs. And then I'm just going to be kind of using that to blend the edges of the orange a little bit better and to add even more warmth to this eye look. I think I want to go a little bit bolder today and try doing something with this super pretty bright matte yellow. This is called Mischief, and I've never done a yellow eye look, so I'm just gonna try it out for the first time, especially since this palette I feel like just has such beautiful options to really play it up with. So I'm gonna be just taking that on a flat shader brush. I don't know if you guys can see how much pigment my brush actually initially picked up, but I do find that I keep like blowing off the excess powder off of the palette. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with, oh wow, that's really bright and pretty. I've never done yellow on my lid before. I really like that. That's so pretty. It's so different, but I think it's so fun for the summer. I just zoomed you guys in and lowered the brightness a little bit, so hopefully you can see how intense that yellow is. I think it's really, really good, especially for a matte shadow. I feel like a matte bright shade doesn't always go on being the most even, but this one was super easy to work with, and I'm really, really happy with this. Now next, I do think I want to add just a little bit more definition to the eyes, maybe something on the outer portion of the crease or the outer corner, just to make it maybe a little bit more wearable, to add a little more definition. I'm just trying to decide what shade to go in. This is more of like a true red, or maybe something like a warm brown would just like tone it down a little bit. I'm just gonna go in with that deep true burgundy red. We already have so much color on the eyes, so why not? I think I'm just going to be going in and just touching on my outer V with this red shade. That's a really, really gorgeous shade as well. And all of these shades work really, really nicely together. They all blend together. They don't look like, you can still see the different distinct colors, but they just work really, really well together, and they kind of are all blending really nicely. I really want to test out one of these gorgeous metallic shimmer shades, so I'm going to be taking Buttercake. It is this really, really gorgeous, ooh, that's so intense. It's like a gorgeous metallic gold. I'm going to use that to highlight my inner corner today. Ooh, pretty. With the brush, it's definitely not like a super opaque intense metallic. It's definitely pretty and intense, but I feel like it almost has a little bit more of a loose shimmer. It's not super glittery. I just feel like it has maybe a little bit more of a loose shimmer. These powders are definitely super lightly pressed, so maybe that's why. But I feel like if you went in with your finger and really packed it on, then maybe it would perform better. So I don't know how well you guys can see that, but this is the shimmer metallic shade layered 3 times, and then this is just one swipe. It is a little bit patchy and it does have some chunks of glitter. It is super pretty, but it definitely took some building to get to the intensity that I really like my metallic shades to be at. And then just to finish up for my lower lash line, just to keep it a little bit more simple, I'm just gonna be going in with this warm red brown just to get a chance to try out another shade, and so it's not really, really colorful all around my eye, to make the look a little bit more wearable. And then just to get as much use out of this palette as possible, I'm going to be taking this super deep brown on my pencil brush and putting this on the bottom half of my lower lash line. So here is the finished look that I'm doing for this demo. I definitely think that these shadows are really, really good quality. Like I said, I definitely prefer the mattes over the metallic shades. The mattes are really some of the best mattes that I've tried in a while. As far as fallout, I don't have much fallout, but I definitely think that's because I tapped off my brush really well. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my face, and then I will come back with my final thoughts on the palette. So here's the finished look. I just got back from finishing my makeup after I did my demo. I just did some liner and mascara. Everything applied super well on top of the shadows. Let me just tell you, it is super hard to find a lip shade that does not look crazy with an eye look like this, but I settled with Jordana Sweet Cream Matte in the shade Data Misu. But overall, I just think that this palette is so good, and I'm not saying that because it's $16. I'm not saying that it's good for the price or for being inexpensive. I think that the quality of these matte shadows blows away so many high-end matte shadows that I've tried. Again, you are going to be getting that kickback with some of the matte shadows, but it doesn't really bother me. To me, that just says that they're lightly pressed, so you get more color payoff, so you don't have to keep dipping back in, so they blend a little bit easier. But like I said, I would just be careful. Make sure you tap off the brush before you do go ahead and apply it to your eyes to avoid the fallout happening on your face. I was just overall so impressed with this palette. I'm so impressed with the matte shadows. The shimmers or the metallics, I'm not really sure what these claim to be. I definitely have to go look on the website. They are okay. They're definitely pretty, the one I have in my inner corner right now, but it's not the most intense metallic that I've ever tried. I do find that it can be a little bit sheer and a little bit chunky. If you do want to stick to a shimmer or a metallic from ColourPop, I definitely just recommend sticking with their single Super Shock shadows. Those are really my favorite eyeshadows, and they're so good. Definitely a lot better than their pan metallic or shimmer shadows. Alright guys, so that completes my little first impression and review on the ColourPop Yes Please eyeshadow palette. Overall, like I said, I love this palette. I definitely think it is worth it. Definitely make sure you get your hands on this little guy. I really hope that you guys found this video informative and helpful and enjoyable. Definitely give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Make sure you are following all my social medias. They are both at Jackie Ann Makeup, both my Instagram and my Twitter, and I believe that is it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in my next one. Bye!